Casper's taking us some nice places as we decide on who's going to win this game between the 49ers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, it's a great time to be in San Francisco this weekend. Unfortunately, I have to leave the Tampa, but it is Fleet Week in San Francisco. And I think it's one of the best weekends of the year in the city. Was just talking about it with Curtis Rourke, the 49ers quarterback, and well, the 49ers have some quarterback news that working out 3 of them on Friday. Unusual move. We'll see if they do make a signing today. Quentin Dormady, one of the quarterbacks the 49ers worked out, probably a name that you haven't heard of. The other 2 you might have heard of, Desmond Ridder, the former Atlanta Falcon, and Nathan Peterman, who started his career with the Bills. Infamous because he threw 5 interceptions in one half of his NFL starting debut. But the 49ers have injury questions at the quarterback position. Mac Jones had to hobble his way through this week. Adrian Martinez is the only available backup for San Francisco since Brock Purdy has already been ruled out. And we'll see how the 49ers end up approaching this tomorrow in Tampa. There's the turn. Well done from Casper. We're going to go on a nice little scenic route. Oh, God, it's bright. I got to flip this camera back around. Way too bright for me right now. I am squinting. So we're going to keep this looking forward straight out into that sun. I mean, it's not going to blind the camera. I hope not. Look, Casper's brother right in front of us. 49ers and the Buccaneers. Both of these teams are beaten up, but they're both 4-1. In fact, right now, if you had to go through the NFC pecking order, and if you applied all the tiebreakers, I know it's kind of silly to apply them so soon, but the 49ers and the Bucs are 1-2 in that order. So the winner of this game is going to be the top seed in the NFC as of week 6. I mean, the fact that both of these teams are amongst the most injured in the NFL and the fact that they are in this position says something about the 49ers and the Bucs. So you've got 2 resilient quality football teams ready to go at it in Tampa. 85-degree weather. The game has been flexed to not prime time, but I guess close to it, to the afternoon window, for good reason. When I think about the Buccaneers, I think about Baker Mayfield because he's playing really good football this year. The 4 wins for Tampa Bay have all featured fourth quarter comeback drives led by Baker Mayfield. They did it against the Seattle Seahawks. He found Sterling Shepard in the end zone to tie the game with less than a minute left. And then we saw Levante David with the interception that set up the game-winning field goal from Chase McLaughlin, the former 49ers kicker. I mean, they went into Seattle and scorched earth with their offense. Now, the Seahawks were missing Devin Witherspoon, their top cornerback. Reek Woolen then exited the game. So I think that's a big reason why Emeka Egbuka and Baker Mayfield were able to connect for such a prolific outing. But still, what Tampa Bay has been doing, especially in the clutch offensively this season, has been very, very impressive. Now, they're going to have to do this against the 49ers without Mike Evans, without Chris Godwin. Egbuka, the rookie, is going to be the main weapon on offense. But, you know, I will say that Tez Johnson, the rookie wide receiver out of Oregon, I mean, he's very slight of frame, more of a gadget weapon. If you're not careful, he still has the speed and the quickness to do some damage. And then Sterling Shepard, the veteran, is a good number 3. I think it's tough because in this game he's going to have to be the number 2. Behind Emeka Egbuka. But remember that they also have Cade Otton, the tight end. Last year, 49ers Bucs was Baker Mayfield to Cade Otton, Baker Mayfield to Cade Otton, like over and over again, because Evans and Godwin didn't play and Egbuka was still in college. So there still are weapons on this team, even without Bucky Irving playing at running back. The Bucs are going to be able to challenge with Rachaad White, who analytically this year has actually been better than Bucky Irving. I get it that the sample is still small, but it's one of those games where you can't underestimate the Bucs offense just because of the injuries. Last week they put up 38, and they did it on the road against Seattle, and I don't care who was hurt for the Seattle Seahawks. There still was clutch play happening from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So can the 49ers find a way to slow down Tampa? Look, we're on Fell Street working our way up. I've always wondered about this church. I mean, really, really nice building, right? as you make your way up. We're going to be looking straight up into the sun again here in a second, so we're going to keep the camera this way as Casper moves his way up. But this is a scenic ride through San Francisco on Fleet Week. I've got dinner coming up here in a few minutes, but I had time to record this prediction, talk a little bit about how the 49ers might play this against the Tampa Bay offense, and we're going to get to the 49ers quarterback situation in just a second. But for San Francisco, I think it's all about pressuring Baker Mayfield over the right side. And I've talked about this a few times over the course of this week. Baker does not have the best protection at right tackle with Charlie Heck, who's given up those 22 pressures. So that's where San Francisco must make its money with its pass rush. I think that Robert Saleh might blitz a little bit in this game, and I think that'd be great for the 49ers. You have to get Baker to get into true gunslinger mode and then miss a couple and then grab those interceptions. And the 49ers haven't nailed an interception in 12 games, which is a historically long streak. But I think that Baker Mayfield may give them the chance at one. Now we're going to have the chance at an awesome view here in San Francisco. Okay, so we're going to pop up over the hill. You guys recognize that? I hope you do. Those are the painted ladies. That's the Full House scene. Now, I made the car stop here. We're not going to exit. We're going to let the car resume its ride. There we go. And we get our nice little San Francisco view. Downtown, painted ladies. That's where they had their little picnic in Full House. A lot of people having a picnic today. It's beautiful weather in the city. We can yell at Danny Tanner to go ahead and come out. Although the actual Full House, the steps were not there. They were up at 1709 Broderick. One of these days we'll have to do a Full House tour of all the filming locations. The inside was a studio somewhere in Hollywood, but the outside, one of these houses, 1709 Broderick looks like some of these Victorians and Edwardians as we dip our way down into Hayes Valley, and then all the way up until Russian Hills. So we're going to catch that green wave of lights, I think, on Franklin Street. So pressure over the right side, really important for the 49ers. Charlie Heck, that right side of the offensive line, that is the weak point for Tampa. You've got to get those picks. I think that you have to win the turnover battle. Remember, the 49ers are underdogs in this game. And when that happens, it's not like they're as big of underdogs as they were against the Rams, 8.5 points, but 3-point underdogs, you still have to find a way to make up for that margin, right? And I think that winning the turnover battle, they've only been one takeaway, giveaway worse than Tampa Bay in turnover margin, but winning that turnover battle is a huge first step. Even when you're a favorite, that's something you needed to avoid the upset. So interceptions are the way that it can happen. I know they don't have any interceptions to their name in 12 games, but I do think that the 49ers should have some opportunities against Baker Mayfield. Other side of the ball, the fact that the 49ers worked out quarterbacks on Friday should tell you that they are iffy at best about how Mac Jones is feeling right now. If they were supremely confident, then he probably would have thrown the football on Thursday. He didn't. He had to preserve himself. So he threw the football on Friday instead, but very, very lightly. That was a very short practice. Supremely confident 49ers don't work out Nathan Peterman, Desmond Ridder, and another quarterback on Friday. So there is a chance that at some point today the 49ers sign a QB. And if they sign one of those QBs, he'll be on the roster. It might still mean that Mac Jones starts. By the way, I used to live here in Hayes Valley. Kevin Durant, parting gift to San Francisco was that basketball court. See guys playing on the basketball court right now. Hayes Valley is a cool neighborhood. I mean, if you want to talk about all this San Francisco architecture and then cool restaurants, that's something that Hayes Valley does bring to the table. This is a nice little German restaurant. Now we're going to be turning right onto Laguna. There's going to be a lot of traffic here. We're going to go by my old place, the former wine bar, the Riddler. Man, unfortunately, it is crowded here. I kind of probably shouldn't have told the car to take this route. It's going to be a little bit. All these cars trying to get out of the city. Thankfully, Casper has forced his way into this spot because this guy has just decided to block the intersection. That's some bad behavior right now. We have to shame the bad behavior. Don't block intersections, guys. It doesn't benefit anybody. You're not getting anywhere quicker. But, if the 49ers are concerned with what's going on with Mac Jones, it doesn't really fit this particular game. Why? Well, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to blitz a whole heck of a lot. I mean, last year, Brock Purdy's mobility, Brock Purdy had a quick release also on some of those plays against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But last year, to beat those Todd Bowles blitzes, the 49ers needed Purdy moving around a little bit. I think that's a huge concern for San Francisco in this game, because if you're Todd Bowles and you're looking at the videos online, not only of Brock Purdy playing against the Rams, but then this week Mac Jones playing against the Rams, but this week Mac Jones in practice,
don't forget
you see somebody whose mobility is compromised. You also have noticed that he's got an oblique injury and he's having trouble throwing. If I'm Todd Bowles and I'm blitz happy to begin with, I become more blitz happy, trying to figure out if Mac Jones can withstand some heat in this game. And if he can't sidestep the pressure in the way that's necessary to open up the time to deliver downfield, then the 49ers are either going to have to go to Adrian Martinez or whoever they sign as an emergency option at quarterback, since obviously they're concerned enough to work guys out on Friday. So everything that the 49ers offense does in this game against the Tampa Bay defense that is also hurt, but everything that they do in their hopes to find a way to exploit some of these Tampa. Oh my God, look at what we're doing. We have decided to go the back way. Whoa. Out of nowhere, we make the left turn and we're going down back street, Linden Alley. I used to live on this street in San Francisco. The AI of the car, it's like we didn't have any running room, just like the 49ers haven't had any running room this year. And we decided to make ourselves some running room. Going all the way to the sculpture here, Patricia's Green in Hayes Valley. They took that thing out of Burning Man and put it here in the middle of the neighborhood. That was elite. Now we're finding a spot to pull over, but we're going to keep on going again. So Hayes Valley, this used to be a freeway in San Francisco.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
Let us keep on going. Come on, here we go. Resume ride. So this used to be a freeway, and then they tore it down, and they opened it up into this beautiful little green space in the middle of the city, which has turned into a nice neighborhood. But we're just going to keep on driving. Hayes Valley is something I would really recommend. Anyway, we found that running room. Just pointed that out as we wiggled our way through some of that traffic. And in finding that running room, it reminded me that the 49ers will be looking for running room of their own against Tampa Bay. And I really think that even though Tampa is the #1 run defense in all of football, this may actually be a hidden opportunity for the 49ers to get some real rushing yardage. Because Tampa Bay blitzes so much that some of those creases against the run on the second level should be there versus the two-shell defenses that the 49ers have been playing so far. It's been a lot of 5- and 6-man fronts combined with a two-shell safety look for the 49ers so far. It's basically been schematic hell for the 49ers run game to try to open something up, especially without George Kittle there to give them some blocking leverage up front. Tampa Bay, on the other hand, is running a defense that might blow up a lot of 49ers run plays in the backfield, or at least challenge them in that way, but might also surrender some of the explosives that the 49ers have yet been able to attain. So the running room, even though that this is the top-ranked run defense in the league, the running room might be there. I just think that the 49ers are going to have to look to the edges for it. They're going to have to look in unexpected places for that running room. Kind of like Casper right here just found that running room in an unexpected place heading down Linden Alley in San Francisco. Look, we're going to loop back around where we just were. I told you guys I'm taking one for the team here. We are doing a true scenic ride. Now we're 16 minutes away from our final destination, which is one of the hidden best Italian spots in the city. Maybe I feature some of the food from there at some point later. But when you least expect it, I think this 49ers run game is going to get on track. And, you know, to fully hit their stride, George Kittle is going to have to return for this football team. I get it. That's not going to be happening this weekend. but I think that some of their stride can be refound, rediscovered in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, we've made a full loop. This was the traffic that we were sitting in, going right by Domo, and then we went right down this alley, Linden Alley, on our way through San Francisco. We have now seen, here's the German restaurant, by the way, again, see, on this corner. We've now seen Hayes Valley, and we're now ready to make it up to Russian Hill while we talk about the rest of this 49ers offensive setup. But, you know, regardless of who's playing quarterback for the 49ers, they're going to need decent protection. And that's going to require another stride to be made from Connor Colby at left guard. It's going to require the tackle play to stay good. I think it's been solid this year, but with some blinks from the tackles. Like, we remember last week when Byron Young just beat Colton McKivitz clean. It's probably one of the reasons why Mac Jones is in this huge state of question entering this game, because he got absolutely laid out there, and then he was grabbing his knee for a while. Turned out to be a cramp, but boy, I mean, tough situation. Now we're making another unexpected right turn, and I love this one because we're going to get to see Hayes Street in San Francisco. Joya Pizzeria, all kinds of new shops always opening up on Hayes Street. This is one of my favorite little corridors in San Francisco, and I think that they close it down on these Fridays. I'm obviously filming this on Friday. They close it down just for pedestrians to be able to do their thing. Hazy's, good new spot right here on the corner. Great little place for happy hour and dinner. Just a really long wait probably on Fridays, but I approve of Hazy's. I don't approve of this guy. I told people not to block intersections. This guy is deciding, you know, you have to turn left, dude. I don't know what's so dramatic about, you know, this turn shouldn't be that hard. Some drivers just are really not good, which is why I prefer the robot doing it, to be honest. Now, a new wood-fired pizza place was supposed to be opening right here. I don't know if, it doesn't look like they're open yet. Looks like they're getting close. We can see here, good bagelry, Wise Sons. Little Japanese dessert place. All right, we've made it through Hayes Valley. We can continue with the 49ers. So protection's going to have to be on point for San Francisco. Vita Vea can wreck a game in many ways up the middle. The problem with a team that blitzes as much as the Bucs do is that the quarterback's got to be absolutely dialed in, which is why I think that the 49ers might be okay with a 60% Mac Jones over a 100% Adrian Martinez, just because identifying what Tampa Bay is doing from an aggressiveness standpoint defensively is going to be so important. I mean, the pre-snap checklist is so vital to win if you are the 49ers. So, you know, it's one of those things where if the 49ers can get through that pre-snap checklist, identify the blitzers, I think there's a lot to exploit on the back end for Tampa Bay. I think that you could look at the fact that Zion McCollum is not going to play. That's one of their corners in this game. The secondary was depleted to begin with. They're number 27 in pass defense. I think the linebackers can be exploited. That includes Levante David, who is you know, a linebacker that's past his prime. Let's just put it nicely. 49ers can use Christian McCaffrey to work on him in this game. But you've got to have the quarterback to set up the opportunities to attack a compromised defense in the back seven. And that's what's currently in question for San Francisco. Does Mac Jones play? How long does he last if he does play? Can the 49ers protect him adequately if he does play, to allow him to finish this game wire to wire so they can capitalize on some of those Tampa weaknesses? I mean, there's a lot to consider when you go through the matchup in this football game. And the fact that both of these teams are very, very beaten up just adds to the wild cards in this game. I did mention that I thought that the 49ers got a break when we saw the game shift to 425. Last year it was hot, and I think that wore that 49ers defense down over the course of the game. Remember, Nick Bosa was trying to drag down Baker Mayfield on that final Tampa Bay drive, and he couldn't get it done. It was brutal for San Francisco in that game. Well, this time it's going to be 85 degrees, but this one is going to be played in darkness to finish it. The 49ers have to wear their home jerseys, because Tampa Bay, they're used to the heat and they schedule their white jerseys for home very, very frequently during games that are played during the day. And this one initially was supposed to be played at 1 p.m. Eastern time. It's moved to 4:25 Eastern time, but it's still going to be warm at the start, and Tampa Bay is going to have the benefit of the white jerseys. The 49ers tried to go to that, obviously, over 2 games at Levi's earlier this year when they played the Cardinals and won, and when they played the Jags and lost. So a slight benefit for the 49ers with this game happening a bit later. The early body clock thing won't be a factor for San Francisco either, but they're playing a quarterback with a whole heck of a lot of moxie, who has a track record of winning these close games. And the 49ers themselves now are developing a track record of winning close games, so something will have to give when they face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday. I mean, it's 2 4-1 teams. It comes down to the fact that both of these teams have played very, very good football when it's mattered the most in high leverage situations. You know, we often talk about the fact that PFF grades can't fairly represent how individuals or a team does because they're not weighted for the biggest moments. And that's exactly where the 49ers have played their best football, in some of the biggest moments, right? The defense struggled for a lot of the game against the Rams, but at the very biggest spots, you think about Alfred Collins at the goal line with a big punch out after the Rams had moved the ball down the whole field, and then you think about the 4th down after the Rams had, again, explosively moved the ball. You think about the entire team stopping Kyren Williams. Well, those are 2 plays that will be graded as positives, obviously, for the 49ers. But they're not getting any extra weight in the grading versus some of the plays where the 49ers lost. And obviously, there were a lot of them against the Rams. But by and large, San Francisco is delivering in a huge way at the highest leverage spots they didn't deliver at back in the 2024 season. We're about to pass San Francisco City Hall. I think it's going to be a good place to deliver this prediction. We can also, you know how I looked at my Tecovas earlier? We had a commercial for Tecovas after the 49ers beat the Rams. Well, the boots are back on. This is not even a commercial. I just wear their boots because I like their boots, and we're about to pass the performing arts centers here in San Francisco and make our prediction. So I kind of, outlined everything. Remember that the 49ers also have a better special teams unit than Tampa Bay. They ended up beating Tampa Bay last year despite leaving 9 points on the board with Jake Moody missing 3 field goals. So Eddie Pinheiro has yet to miss for the 49ers. If that continues, then there are 9 points the 49ers didn't have last year. Now, Egbuka, you could add him to the Tampa Bay mix. They're probably more explosive with Emeka Egbuka. Last year, the 49ers were coming off a bye. That was a big deal against the Bucs. That helped them win that football game. It was the only, I'm not sure if Tampa was coming off a bye too, but it was the only time the 49ers weren't at a massive rest disadvantage. I mean, that was huge for the 49ers last year because so many other times it wasn't good for San Francisco. You know that I've struggled with this prediction all week because the quarterback situation is so sketchy for San Francisco and because Baker Mayfield has been playing such good ball for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I have finally come to my decision just as we've appeared inside of San Francisco City Hall. I've been talking up Fleet Week in the city, the best week in the city. So as we see City Hall, I have to say that the 49ers are going to win this game. 27-24, San Francisco is going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, weird stuff may still happen at QB. We're going to wait for roster moves a little bit later today. But I'm done picking against the 49ers in these close projections. I picked against them in week 1, and they ended up winning against Seattle. I picked against them last week, and they ended up getting another massive, massive win over the Rams. Obviously, defying the odds. Never tell them the odds, right? Never tell the Han Solo 49ers the odds. And I will say that this time, because of what has happened already, I'm going to bet on a greasy 49ers win. Somehow, some way, they're going to find a way to get it done, and then If they get to 5-1, we can start having the discussion of, well, does this give them even more confidence to go out there and take a blockbuster swing for an edge rusher? All right, from Fleet Week in San Francisco, time for me to head off to Tampa Bay. We'll talk to you soon.